Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode of Heroes of the Storm, in our A through Z playthrough, we're going to be playing Qhira. Qhira is our Q character and is, for all intents and purposes, just feast or famine. You're either going to do insanely well or you're going to do probably really bad. But anyway, it's a YouTube video, so feel free to like, comment, subscribe your heart out. We've got Anduin, Murky, Diva, Qhira, Junkrat versus Asmo, Vala, Uther, wow, I forgot that name, Uther, Rexar, and Greymane. We're on Brax's Holdout today, a 2-lane map with some really strict reliance on rotation, so we're going to do our best to make that happen. If you are not familiar with Qhira, she is a ranged assassin. We are already missing her skill shots, and everything is going to turn out better than expected. I hope that's the case, actually. Vala does like to stand still, I noticed, instead of continuing to move where I think she's going to when we toss her. But that's neither here nor there. Now, if you're not familiar with Qhira's abilities, they are all rather unique. They definitely have their own quirks. They have their own... I don't even know how to explain it. But just remember, when you're using these, some of them are going to rely very heavily on skill shot accuracy, and some of them are going to rely very heavily on having your opponent less than 50% health. So your Q, probably the easiest part of your entire kit, is called Carnage. You're just going to shoot your little Ivy sword forward. It's going to extend, lock you in place, and then it's going to do damage on the way out and the way back while applying your trait. You can see in just a moment here, we're going to hit Rexar with it, do a whole bunch of damage, apply a whole bunch of our passive to him, and then watch him die behind his wall. Carnage is a fairly short cooldown. It is your most reliable way to do damage with Qhira and apply your trait. So it seems like it should be the best thing about her kit, right? Except it's not, because it does lock Qhira in place while the animation is channeling, which is really nuts. I mean, just, you can get your ass shot off when you're standing still with that thing going on. I'm just trying to get away from Vala, so we're going to use our trait, which is the grappling hook, an activatable ability. Really cool, but it's on a 25-second cooldown. If you hook onto terrain, you'll pull yourself to that terrain. If you hook onto a hero, you will pull yourself to that hero and apply 1 stack of your passive to them, which is really helpful, and the range on this ability is nuts. This is the Spider-Man archetype character. You fling the webs, and you get to where you want to go. It's really cool. Now, your final kind of mobility, kind of burst tool in Qhira's kit is the revolving sweep. Revolving sweep is your main form of invincibility, your main form of engage, and your main form of escape. This ability is just everything that you need to be able to do with Qhira, and sadly, it's pretty easy to miss when your opponent is doing things that you're not expecting. So you really need to aim this ability well and make sure that you're hitting the person while they are in that range. So if you're missing your revolving sweep and not doing well with Qhira, then those two things are one and the same, because this is the most important ability in her entire kit, and you do need to be good at using it. Your W, your final ability, though, is both a passive and an activatable, but your passive, what it's going to do is apply bleed stacks to characters that are hit with your abilities or your auto attacks, up to 5. And then that damage is going to continue on. You can also activate your W once you have some passive stacks applied to deal 40 damage and heal Qhira for 112 at level 7. And then the damage and healing is increased by 50% per each additional stack on that hero. So the more stacks that you have, the more damage and healing that you're going to do. And typically, you do want to apply this to as many people as possible. You also apply this very, very easily when you're using your revolving sweep in a huge area, because when Qhira is revolving around the target she's latched to, anybody that she hits while spinning also gets the passive applied to them. So you could potentially apply it to the entire enemy team all at once and get a huge heal. It's crazy good. Qhira is very good at baiting people into making bad decisions because she's got all that wicked healing just hiding behind all of her damage. But again, you have to hit your abilities, so if you can't do that, then you probably can't play Qhira. But all that being said, we are going to be picking up ult-wise, we're going to be picking up Final Strike today, because I think the low cooldown on this ability, the range on the ability, and just kind of how we're playing this game is going to be a little bit more useful than the Relentless Strikes. More often than not, I'll find myself taking that ability because it is very good for engaging on one target and just wiping them out. But Final Strike does give us a bit of range, gives us a little bit of wave clear as well in big, huge areas. And considering that the cooldown is so short, it's kind of okay to just rip this ability whenever you want. So if you're playing Qhira and you're having trouble figuring out, do I use this, do I not? Just go ahead and do it. 40 seconds is not that big a deal. If you miss it, so what? It's going to be up very soon again. So practice aiming it, but still don't worry too much about it when you just push that button. Now the build that we're using today is going to be mostly the Q build, but at level 1 we're picking up Maximum Effort. Maximum Effort is going to give you more burst damage on your Q and is going to slow... Ooh, is she going to get away? We're just going to try to body block a little bit, stand in front of him. Didn't get it. Uther got the final damage, but we're going to take the Vala out as a trade, and I'm totally down with that anyway. No big deal there. But your Maximum Effort, the talent at level 1, is he going to get hit? Oh my god, Junkrat killed him with the Rocket Ride. That buff is really helpful for that character. That talent needed it for sure. Right, but the slow is, I believe it's 25% on the level 1. Yeah, so if you hit the same person for 3 instances of damage on your Q, I hit him, he just didn't die, which is a little bit upsetting. But your Q can hit people a maximum of, I think it's 6 times. So it goes out and it comes back and it's dealing a whole bunch of damage while all that stuff is going on. But if you get at least 3, your Q is going to slow them and going to deal additional damage, which is crazy good because the application of your passive and then the slow plus the burst damage makes it really easy for Qhira to just kill people when she goes in. This guy's dead. That shield was way too early. We're just going to latch onto him, whack him with the Q and an auto, and then get some healing for ourselves on the way out. Good stuff. Now, your level 4 and 7 talents are both going to be more defensive talents. And that's kind of weird because they're so early, but at the same time, it's also not that big a deal. So you can usually take your armor on your auto attacks at level 4, but this time around, we're going to be picking up the... we're going to be picking up evasion instead, so we can just completely dodge auto attacks by applying our passive, our Blood Rage, to 2 people. Let's see. So damaging at least 2 heroes with Blood Rage causes Qhira to evade the next 4 basic attacks within 12 seconds. That's really, really, really strong because characters like Vala, characters like Greymane, even Rexar to some extent, because he's taking Bestial Wrath for some reason, that is lots and lots of damage mitigation for us when we just run the fuck in there like we're prone to doing. But the evasion is super, super good because of the enemy team comp. Otherwise, we would just take Your Pain, My Gain, which is the armor on our auto attacks. The ensnaring swing, I'm not super sure that's worth it. I've tried it a couple times and I've never really had a whole lot of success. But I think if you're in a comp, or like if you're in a team, if you're in a stack, that could be decent as long as your team is willing to work with you on that. Yeah, it's probably good for getting picks or something. It just doesn't work for me as a solo queue player. And then Healmonger, we're picking up at 7. If Blood Rage damages an enemy hero below 50% health, it's going to heal for an additional 317. Oh my god. You can't imagine how much healing. Well, you probably can't. I mean, Qhira can get her entire health bar back with just a couple well-placed applications of her W. It is crazy how good that is. We're just going to run at the Vala real quick here. Miss our Q. We're going to get stopped on our E, but the Anduin has got us covered with his ultimate. Looks like Vala might die to some Murlocs. Wow. The March of the Murlocs actually getting some stuff done. Pretty good stuff. He lost his egg at some point, but it doesn't matter because his entire team is able to just run over the enemy team, and Murky is going to get away scot-free. Now, D.Va, I mean, D.Va's obviously not in any trouble. We've got the D shield off of the Uther, and Asmo's just going to die walking the wrong direction. Pretty strange happenings there. Back to the build, though. So at level 10, like I said, we've got Final Strike. If I didn't mention it, this is just a huge line of burst damage, and it's going to do extra damage to characters below 50% health. 25% increase on the damage to characters below 25% health, and considering that it's already doing 684 damage, that's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. Your 13 talent Chainsaw, though, that's our next one. Carnage's cooldown recharges 100% faster while an enemy hero has maximum blood rage stacks. So, just going to poke a little bit with our ult there. Not really worried about anything with that. But, what was I saying? We were talking about the ult. The 13 talent. The 13 talent Chainsaw. So basically, you can apply all 5 of your passive stacks with 1 Q, and that in and of itself will get you the reduced cooldown on your Q, so that you may, again, continue reapplying maximum stacks and cut that cooldown down. It's really helpful because this is kind of our main form of burst damage outside of our revolving sweep. So, and the ultimate, for that matter. I'm just kind of firing my ult off because, again, the cooldown is really short, and I want to force my brain to say, man, we can just use this whenever we want. There's really no downside to it. Yeah. You do not have to save Final Strike for getting that one big cool kill at the end of the team fight. You can just rip that bitch whenever you want to. It's so good. Now, your 16 talent, the next one up is going to be Booming Kick. I do not think that any other talent on this tier will ever be as good as that. This is a little bit spooky, but it looks like we're not actually going to get the point. Misha's on the point. D.Va's been pulled back. I don't want to stay here. I'm just going to go ahead and Spider-Man myself out of there because fuck that. Oh, and D.Va's down because Greymane comes around the side, and that's just what he does. While I take a cursed bullet to the face. Could be worse. Could be worse. Gotta get out of those bad situations when you see him coming. It's not usually worth it to just hang around. He's dodged my E. There's no way for me to... I'm just kidding. He's dead. He's probably dead. Yeah, he died. He got killed by the camp, magically enough. But, that's fine. Anduin's got my back. This Anduin is absolutely on fire this game, keeping me alive so that I can do maximum damage. I just field goaled the shit out of that, but it's like he's got my brain inside his brain. We're synced up. We know exactly what to do. Anduin is riding high on my glory, and me on him. But your 16 talent Booming Kick. So the ability is now going to stun in an area. So when you reactivate Revolving Sweep, it stuns a character and knocks them back. It also stuns a character very shortly when you hit with the initial impact too. So just when you like throw out your E, that is a stun. And that is a range stun. That's very helpful for things like Mosh Pit interrupts. If you're ever against an ETC and your team needs an interrupt for it, you can throw a Revolving Sweep on that bad boy and it will stop. But Booming Kick, so you're going to increase the stun duration when you kick them. Let's see.
Attain control of those beacons.
There it is. It's a 1 second stun, so now it's going to be changed to a 1.25 second stun. And then characters around Qhira, when she's latched onto the target, or when she retracts herself to the target to do the stun, characters around there are now going to be stunned as well. So it's just a big, massive AoE 1.25 second stun, and she's completely invincible while trying to figure out which angle she wants to approach from. So that's crazy good, especially in team comps like this one, or against this one. There's a lot of clumping going on, and there is a lot of people for us to just run at, latch onto, and murder indiscriminately. Vala goes down to the final strike, and we are going to try to get some more kills here. Can't chase the Rexar any further. I don't have any catch-up abilities. Looks like everybody else is going to get away as well. Maybe Uther is going... Yeah, we're just going to run around the backside here to catch Uther, who is making huge amounts of space for his team. Can you believe it? There's the stun. Going to hit him with the Q for the burst damage as well. That is really just the whole combo. You can latch on, kick him, Q him. Maybe you grappling hook before that. I don't know. His character's fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. So if you're gonna play her, get good at the skill shots and enjoy yourself. I promise you it's a good time. At level 20, instead of picking up Unleash Potential for the ult upgrade, I am instead going to take Utility Belt. Grappling Hook's cooldown is reset when an enemy hero is hit with the initial impact of Revolving Sweep and recharges 900% faster if Qhira hasn't taken damage within the last 5 seconds. Because... Oof. That was a hiccup and I think a burp at the same time. Just a mini one. Ow. But because this ability is so long range and it's so good mobility-wise, it's really, really, really a good talent, and I think it gets slept on a lot because the ult upgrades for Qhira are both... They're very good, but we also ignore the amount of presence that Qhira can have with Grappling Hook. So because the range is so crazy good and because the cooldown is going to be so short, we can basically get in and out of whatever situation that we want, and it is going to just Spider-Man us into the stratosphere, which is kind of hilarious because now that I think about it, both the Nexus original characters have kind of Venom and Spider-Man archetypes. That's funny. Orpheus Venom and Qhira's Spider-Man. That's just my brain off on a tangent. But there is the end of the game. Murky didn't even have enough time to finish. Slime time. Unfortunate. He's still got the big Tuna Kahuna at 20. And then Fish Tank. I mean, that's just that. I don't know. I see what he was going for. It's not a Murky video. Let's talk about the Qhira build. Maximum effort at 1, upstage at 4, heal monger at 7, final strike at 10, chainsaw at 13, booming kick at 16, and then utility belt at level 20. Undervalued, underutilized, really fantastic talent. But that is going to be it for Qhira. You can see here quite a few kills. 12.25, 0 deaths, highest damage on the team in the game, as a matter of fact. And we healed ourselves for 18,000 with our W. That's crazy good too. Qhira also works incredibly well on 2-lane maps, I think. And the fact that our Anduin was just pocket healing us the entire time. He knew who to heal, how to heal, when to heal. It was just fantastic. So truly shout out to that man there. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Qhira is done for. Ragnaros, I think, is the next character up, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'll see ya.